And we welcome you back to this special extended edition of Capitol Tonight. I'm Josh Robin, in for Brian Taff. Joe Bruno stunned the state last month when he announced he was abruptly stepping down as Senate Majority Leader. It's fair to say one of those caught off guard was the very person who'd replace him. Dean Skelos spent the last 14 years as Bruno's deputy, and on June 24th, he was tapped and quickly sworn in as Senate Majority Leader, becoming the most powerful Republican in New York.
The resolution is adopted, and the chair states for the record that Senator Dean Skelos has been elected temporary president of the Senate for the year 2008.
Together we can make a meaningful difference in people's lives, and I think we have to remember that's why we're elected. We're elected to serve the people.
Since that day, the majority of those people have been left wondering, who is Dean Skelos? Outside the halls of the Capitol and the boundaries of his Long Island district, few know much of anything about the newest member of the so-called three men in a room. So before we hear from the man himself, here's a look at his clip file. Dean Skelos is 60 years old, born and raised in the district he now represents in Nassau County, Long Island. He's a lawyer by training, a graduate of Fordham University School of Law. Before that, he received a BA in history from Washington College in Maryland. He's married and has a 26-year-old son. That is the man on paper, and now in his first long-form television interview since becoming leader, Dean Skelos joins us on Capitol Tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you, Josh.
I wanted to start off, since you took over, you have really made an effort to crisscross upstate New York, telling people, and you've been asked about this repeatedly, telling people, look, I'm from Long Island, the governor is from Harlem and from Long Island, and the assembly speaker is from Manhattan. Nonetheless, I understand upstate. I do want to ask you, though, one of the big announcements, and people have been asking me about this and sort of scratching their heads, probably the biggest announcement since Upstate, since the end of the session, was that IBM deal, $1.6 billion investment in Upstate. You weren't there. Tell me why. Where were you that day?
You know what? That was Joe Bruno's day. But when I've had the opportunity to speak to, for example, the top officials at AMD and others, just to basically reassure them that all the commitments that Joe made, we would follow through with them. But, you know, Joe had been working on that for such a long time that I really felt it was appropriate that that be Joe Bruno's day.
What will success look like to you? Can you give us some sort of time frame as to what your goals are for Upstate? And at the end of the day, what will Upstate look like if Dean Skelos gets his way and persuades other partners in government that this is what the priority should be?
Well, first of all, Josh, the most important issue facing all New Yorkers, and I've said this whether it's from Erie County, Albany County, or Nassau County, where I reside, are real property taxes. So we have to do something significant as a state legislature, and Governor Patterson has stepped out by calling for a cap on school property taxes, which I support. But we have to go beyond that. We have to find ways of reducing property taxes, and that's mandate relief, and that's making sure that our school districts are adequately funded so that our kids get the great education they deserve. If we don't cut property taxes, you're not going to have economic development and job creation, whether it's maintaining a pretty good economic climate on Long Island and the city, although everybody's suffering throughout the state. You're not going to be able to bring manufacturers, bring research individuals to upstate New York, whether it's the Capital Region, Mohawk Valley, or Central New York, unless it becomes more affordable. And that starts with property taxes.